Hello and welcome to another Retro Crazy Mini Byte. Today I'm going to be looking at a pair of Amiga external floppy drives. Two different manufacturers. This one clearly marked on the top Amitek, and this one's marked Cumana. I don't know if these work. I'm hoping. One of which has already been earmarked, and I'm giving this away to another YouTuber who will be doing a charity stream and will be selling Amigas and a whole bunch of other Commodore stuff, and one of these two is going to be added to that. So whichever one it is, if you want a chance to win it, I'll make sure the links are in the description. Please check out the videos he's posted up about the charity stream. He did one last year. It's all for a very, very good cause, and something I think most of us can get behind. So where to start? Well, let's start with the Amitek, because that one looks like it's going to be a bit easier to get into with obvious screws, as opposed to the Cumana, which, yeah, no screws on this. So the Amitek is quite solid. This is a very, very heavy case. I'm going to guess this is solid steel, and 4 screws, which some of them look more worn than others. Let's see how we get on getting in. So with the 4 screws out, I'm going to guess this slides. Oh my goodness, this is rock solid. I don't want to push it that way because the fascia's flexing. So, oh goodness, that's quite a tight fit. However, one steel case, which will need a very good clean, and that gets us into the Amiga drive itself, which looks like that's a standard connector. So that'll just pull off, and it looks like it just pulls off of the connector on the circuit board. So that's handy, and there we go. Oh, it's a nice Sony drive. That's quite tidy. So looking at the controller board, there is not a lot to it. Copyright 1993 by Amitek, made in England. So I'm not sure there's going to be too much I have to do here. No capacitors. I'll give everything a clean. I'll definitely need to clean the cable, get off this residue, as you can see. Give the underside of the case a clean. It does look reasonably straight as well, so that's nice. So let's just crack on with the drive. Seeing as it's got, yep, pins either side, I'm going to guess it's pop it, lift, and it just, if I lift it, it'll actually move out the way. So, like so. Now that is very clean inside. Fascia, as you can see, will need a clean because that's grubby, but the drive itself is rather nice. And there's even, yep, there's even grease that's still alive on that. I'm very impressed. I don't think this has seen a lot of use, and being a Sony drive, it's going to have been well built. Okay, so not much cleaning to do here. I'll give it a quick once over, then we'll pop it to the side. As far as this board is concerned, there's not much clearance there between some of the components and this plate, so I may well take this off and just give this a good clean. So let's crack on with that just now. So with the drive being this clean, I'm going to use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to very lightly and gently rub the heads, and anywhere where I see a little bit of loose dust, I'm just going to lift it. That's actually still wet, but not a lot of it, so I'll give that a quick clean. We'll re-lubricate that. I'll see if I can get the fascia off, which I think I can, if I'm very gentle. Now what I have spotted is a surface mount cap, so I definitely want to get in there and see if I can replace that. So we've got one main screw that I can see. I don't know if these are doing anything or if they are just covering. I do have 3 connectors here to remove so I don't damage them. And I'm just going to grab the main tabs and just very gently and carefully lift them up. Judging by the length of those, they are definitely going through the board and into the casing, so they've got to come off as well. Now I am noticing the motor itself seems to be directly soldered, so that's going to be an issue. So with the drive back together except for the fascia, let's pop this to the side, bring in the main casing, and let's just undo these and get this circuit board out. And there we are, that's it out, and you can see what I mean about these sitting right above the casing. There's almost no clearance. That kind of freaks me out a little bit, especially seeing as 2 of the lowest ones are power. So I may clip these back just a little to give a bit more clearance, just for my own peace of mind. And with that all done, I'll get these away for cleaning. I'm going to use some SIF, which is just a surface cleaner, and it's very good actually for lifting off the contamination on the cable. I'll maybe use some on the casing and we'll get all of this cleaned up. I'll be careful not to get any on this because I can cheat, I think. So this can now just go to the side and I can work on these at my leisure. Let's reassemble. And with the first drive done, I'm going to pop this to the side and we can look at the Cumana. Now the hardest bit about the Cumana drive is actually getting into it. There are no screws, and I did go and check a video, and there are massive clip points on either side, and apparently it's an absolute nightmare to get into, so who knows if I'm going to get in without damaging this. I mean, it definitely needs a clean. So I'm only going to guess that the internals are just as bad. So let's see if we can get this popped open. Wow, okay, those are massively long clip points, and yes, I had to use a number of different spudgers to try and get in. The metal ones tended to potentially damage the plastic, but they don't flex as much, and once I'd managed to get it started and in and jammed, then I could get in with the really flexible one, which allowed me to pop the next section. So let me get the rest of this out, and then we can, again, by the looks of it, ignore the adapter because there's nothing on it, but we need to strip the drive. So now that that's out, I can see a single cap over here to be replaced, and I've got a pair of caps on this board. The mechanism itself looks, again, very clean. I am going to do one other thing, and that is this tensioning spring. They have a tendency to become weak. I'm trying to remember, I think you just push back and it should pop out, like so. And what happens over time is they bend. So that needs straightened just gently. And now you see it's straight again. That can go back in, it'll last a bit longer and it'll be tensioned. Alright, let's look at replacing these caps. So that's both boards done, but let me talk about caps just very briefly. Now you note that these caps are not sitting vertically like the originals, and that's because trying to get the right height of cap is very difficult. It also has to sit in a very shallow recess in the casing, so if it's too tall the screws don't go down fully and there is a danger the cap shorts against the chassis, which is not what you want. So what I've managed to do is take the right value caps, and I've managed to fit them in such a way that the overall height should not affect the mechanism at all. They're not touching. I've checked to make sure there's no legs bridging other connectors, so that's fine. But the previous Amitek drive was different. It looked like a surface mount cap, but it wasn't. So while it looks like a surface mount, it is actually a standard electrolytic. Now what I managed to do there was take a surface mount cap, straighten the legs, which then allows you to remove the base, and that was enough for me to be able to put the surface mount with its extended legs through the circuit board and solder. So that height has been kept by cheating a little. Yeah. Okay, going to continue. These boards are going to go back together, and I'm just going to give this a little clean up, give the heads a clean, and then we can look at reassembly once I've cleaned those disgusting plastics. And there we are, the Cumana drives all back together, all nice and clean, freshly serviced. Here's hoping these things actually work. So what does that leave? Well, that leaves testing. So here we are at testing, ready to go. I've got the Cumana drive in first. So let's first of all power on the 500. And I can hear ticking. And yeah, you can feel the ticking too. Okay, so let's get Amiga test kit loaded, and we're going to use obviously floppy drive. And okay, DF1 is registering, so let's try a read test. That's absolutely perfect. And let's go back. I'm not going to do a write test because I don't want to overwrite this and I don't have a blank here, but that's looking good. So I'm going to power off and I'm going to swap over to the Amitek. And now with the Amitek in place, let's just check. It should be on, and let's power on. Well, there was an initial tick from it. Let's see what this does. Okay, so let's go to floppy drives, and it sees DF1. So let's select DF1, and again we're going to drop in fonts, and we'll do a read test. Superb, working absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to thank you for watching this video. I'm hoping some of it was useful, informative, maybe even slightly entertaining. I don't know, you take away from it what you will. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Retro Crazy or Retro Crazy Mini Byte.